po kami with the senators. We had about 14 senators that met that night, and we discussed the possibilities. Nakuha ko naman po yung full support ng majority members of the Senate. We were also there. We also had a member of the minority there, Senator Risa Ontiveros. And of course, we said to her that we know their position, we will respect their position, but I'm being transparent. As the Senate President, I want to be transparent that these discussions will be taking place once the Senate resumes on January 22.
Sorry, isa pa. Sir, kasi ever since naman, di ba, divided yung Senate in terms of Chacha. And parang kayo mismo nagsabi dati, sir, na pag pinush yan, hindi talaga yan mananalo dito sa Senate. But since kayo mismo, sir, yung may reso na, did you get the support of the 14 senators para pumasa po yung economic provisions, Chacha?
We got the support of all the senators that were there, except, of course, for the minority. The minority is non-committal. They have to see the amendments first. They want to participate in discussions and the debates. I'm talking about Senator Risa. She was the one who said na hindi, wala muna siyang may dadagdag. Although she was happy that that the discussions will be moving away from the plan of the PI na ikapon kami. Happy po silang lahat na ang sinabi ng Pangulo na dapat dito na tayo sa ganitong klaseng proseso. Hindi po yung sa gusto ng People's Initiative na yan, na EDSA Puera, na gusto nilang ikapon ang Senado at magkakaroon po ng mga posibleng amendments na hindi po natin makokontrol bilang Senado. Because you have to remember that the gist of this proposal is pagdating po ng isang constituent assembly, which can be called by either one, hindi joint. Either one can call for this. 3/4 vote lamang ang kailangan. So I did a simple computation. Kung 300 congressman yun at 24 senators, that's 324. Technically, 3/4 vote is only 243. So maski na po mag-walk out po tayo, maski na po absent kami, they can amend the Constitution, and we can no longer protect the people's interest in the system of checks and balances that we are, which is enshrined by the Constitution through a bicameral form of government. So
we need 16, but clearly you only have 13 for now.
no, we need a total of 18 votes when it comes to amending. Kasi 2/3 ang 16, 3/4 is 18.
Sir, pumayag po si the Speaker na mas center lang sa economic provisions yung any amendment. Well,
ang binabanggit niya palagi, dyan lang naman siya gustong mag-amend dahil sa economic provisions. According to him, officially in front of me. I don't want to put any words in the Speaker's mouth. I would rather that you ask the Speaker himself on his position on this.
Was it clear na he's speaking for the 300 members of the House of Representatives during their meeting?
Nandun din naman si Sandro. So Sandro is a senior deputy majority floor leader. And I believe the message was loud and clear. I hope that the message was loud and clear.
Sir?
So,
SP, isundan ko lang yung kay Marlon. During that meeting, was there a commitment given by Speaker Romualdez na they will not support in any other way yung PI? Because according to Pirma, they are working on this, on the PI, in coordination with the Congress.
I no longer want to fight with my colleagues in Congress. 1 week po ako hindi nakakatulog. Kaya hindi rin ako nakakasagot sa inyo dahil may inaayos po tayong gusot, and we were able to get consensus from everyone, including the President. I think those questions about the Speaker should be asked to the Speaker.
Was there a, how can you guard the eventual proposal of other members of, for example, Senate, with respect to, kasi sabi nyo nga po, economic provision lang, pero syempre independent-minded naman ng mga senators, and some really want some political amendments.
Well, ang mangyayari dyan, my dear colleagues, when discussions on, for example, if you see the resolution that we will file today, nakapirma na kaming tatlo, if you see the resolution that we file today, it's limited to yung amendments to public services, as well as education, and as well as advertising. We got the guide from the President. I hope that the President will not be upset if I share this information. Pero si President mismo ayaw niya ng lupa na ibigay sa foreigners. Siya mismo nagsabi, malabo yun. He said that, and I quote the President, this will give us problems in our housing program. It will increase tax rates and it will increase prices of land in the Philippines. And he even cited some countries kung saan na may foreign ownership na yung mga mismong locals ay hindi na po nakaka-afford ng lupa doon at lumalabas na. Kaya na nga nagkakaroon ng Asian hate dahil may mga areas like Vancouver, Toronto, in Canada, wherein a lot of Chinese, Hong Kong nationals pumunta doon, binili lahat ng property. Yung mga Canadians na original na lumalabas na, hindi na nila ma-afford yung lupa tsaka apartments doon sa mga lugar na yun. So we like to thank the President for that because we are one in the Senate also not to agree on foreign land ownership. So maganda, meron po siyang direksyon na sinabi, keep away land from ownership.
Sir,
and even media, sabi niya, ayaw din niya ng media kasi kung may foreign ownership of media, baka mag-influence peddling pa yan dito on certain agendas. So ayaw din yan po yun. So we're limiting it, as far as the Senate is concerned, that Thursday night discussion, we're limiting it to the scope of the Public Services Act, education, because we feel, lahat po kami naniniwala, na bakit hindi makapasok ang Harvard dito, ang Yale, ang Stanford. Pwede naman sila mag-set up po ng eskwelahan dito. They do it in Singapore, they do it in other countries. So we should allow them para ang tumaas naman ang dekalidad ng ating edukasyon. And of course, we're limiting it to these three right now.
Sir, two more questions lang,
po,
sir.
tapusin ko na lang si Chair.
Sorry, Marlon, sandali. Sir, so pumayag doon si Speaker na in the first place, aware si Speaker na merong ganitong resolution and he agreed na in the end, at the end of the day, they will just vote according to your version. Ganun po.
That was the agreement that we had made in Malacanang on the 11th of January at 4 p.m.
Okay. Sir, last question.
So yan yung agreement po namin and I hope all parties will agree and we thank the President for that because ang totoo dyan talaga magkakaroon ng constitutional crisis. Hindi po talaga papayag. Alam mo, lahat ng mga kasamahan ko, atat na umatake. At sabi ko sa kanila, pag lumaban tayo, there's a point of no return. Kasi kung magkakainitan ng dugo ang House and Senate, paano natin may papasa yung mga batas natin? Kung ayaw mo makipag-usap sa congressman, how do we do the BICAMs, the bicameral conferences? How do we do our LEDAC? Magkakagulo, masyado mainit. So, ang talo dyan ang taong bayan. So, I had to keep a cooler head and even if it was very difficult for me not to say anything about this issue, we wanted to find a win-win solution that would limit the impact in terms of a constitutional crisis with both houses of Congress.
Sir, one last question from my end. Is this going to be a priority? Is it going to be prioritized?
It will be a priority by the Senate as far as we're concerned. Only on economic provisions, napakaklaro yan, we will have public hearings, and in these public hearings, we will have debates. And as you said, kung meron man propose ng controversial dito sa Senado, term limits or removal of term limits or change of government, I'm sure the members of the committee, the subcommittee, or kung gusto ng ating mga kababayan, gawin natin na committee on the whole to be presided by myself and Senator Angara, we can put it on a vote. And obviously, 18 votes at each time. Sa committee level, para paglabas na committee report, that was voted upon by 3/4 of the members, yung final committee report, and then we'll put it in plenary and make a vote on it again for 18 votes or for 3/4 vote. Well, I cannot predict what my colleagues would be saying, but I think the simpler the amendment, the easier to get 18 votes from my colleagues.
Sir,
Was there any discussion on political reforms, particularly term limits, lifting of term limits, and then change of...
Wala naman. Wala naman. Kasama ni Pangulo, wala naman.
And by filing this resolution, SP, is it that an admission na may defect, may constitutional defect, yung amendment sa PSP?
Because my eyes were open because we had a meeting with Frederick Go, yung kanyang officer or the presidential assistant for his economic team. And we spoke also to several other businessmen. Natatakot sila. Kasi kaya nga maraming pledges, hindi pa natutuloy po yung pledges is because whenever they speak to their legal team here, yung mga Filipino lawyers, meron pang pending sa Supreme Court. So, sayang naman, no, napakasayang. Kung 1.1 trillion nga ang pledges ng mga dayuhan na mag-set up ng mga businesses dito, bakit naman natin sila atsapuera? Ay pupunta lamang yan sa Vietnam, pupunta lamang yan sa Thailand, sa iba't ibang bansa, kawawa naman ang Pilipinas. So, we listen to the pulse of the public and also the business sector para sa ganun ay makapasok talaga at magkaroon ng legacy and legacy projects and investments in the country.
Sir?
It is not, I'd like to say that iba kasi yung panahon nun, iba yung panahon na yun. I think when we passed the 1987 Constitution, it was not defective because at that time, all countries at that time were looking inward, di ba? Nationalistic ang tendency noon, nung 1980s. Ngayon po, globalized na yung economy natin. And by doing this, definitely erases all doubts na gusto po natin ng foreign investments na pumasok sa ating bansa.
And sir, with this resolution, malilimit lang sa talaga doon sa education, economic, and wala na yung possibility na yung term extension. Kasi yun yung usual na inaano nila.
Suicide yun para sa amin. No one, wala, vehement ang objection ng mga kasama ko on this topic. So, we limit it to economic, as what we promised the President. We limit it to economic provisions, and we'll be discussing only economic provisions on this particular Senate resolution.
And that hopefully will put to rest the PI, the People's Initiative efforts sa ground.
Well, sana po. Sana po yan ang mangyari. Yan ang kagustuhan din ng Pangulo. So, of course, the question now will be with our colleagues in the House of Representatives.
Sir, sabi ang initially po sir, 'di ba, re-reviewin po ng subcommittee ang economic provisions ng Constitution. And then eventually magko-convert po ba Congress to Constituent Assembly kasi dinidiscuss niyo na po yung 18 votes which
Hindi
is
na.
two-thirds na
Dito
requirement.
na lang kami boboto. Yan ang usapin namin sa Malacanang. We will be here, we will pass this, 18 votes dito, and we will submit it to the House.
Yung
And then
kagaya po,
if they, ang gusto ng ating Pangulo ay adapt na lang po ng House of Representatives. Na kung hindi po i-adapt ng House of Representatives, magkaka-impasse po tayo.
so same route sir ng pinagdaanan po ng Public Services Act.
It is it will be like a bill, but 3/4 vote. We will deliver 3/4 vote of the Senate.
Yes, sir. And then, sir, dun sa meeting po, nag-agree, sir, si Speaker na, nag-agree po dito si Speaker Romualdez. Sir, kasi sir, ang sabi ni Senator Amy Marcos kahapon, it seems na siya yung nasa likod ng People's Initiative kasi yung mga directives nanggagaling sa mga staff niya. So, sir, dun po ba una, sir, may admission po ba na siya yung nasa likod ng People's Initiative? And after that meeting, clear po ba na wala na, matitigil na itong mga pag-ikot-ikot po para sa pirma?
You know what will happen if I answer that, di ba? Magkakagera kami ng House. So, I suggest that you ask sino yung counterpart mo sa House? Name pa?
Si Isa, sir.
Si Cesar. Tanong mo si Cesar na mag...
SP, di ba, under the Constitution, very specific yung mode altering the Constitution. correct me if I'm wrong, yun nga, yung sinasabi ni Kalimpa, Constitutional Assembly, yung CONCON, and then yung PI. So, by doing that, sir, kung parang same lang siya sa legislative yung process ng pagpasa ng isang bagay.
It's just the name. Actually, parang it's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a name, which is Constituent Assembly. Even Senator Frank Drilon, the former Senate President, the former Minority Leader, had given this proposal na it can be done that way. We don't have to meet in one place to come up with a Constituent Assembly. As far as they're concerned, and this was also discussed during, this was also discussed in one of the committee hearings by, I think, Father Bernas and some other constitutionalists, that it can be done that way. So we can meet here, pass the resolution, 3/4 vote. They can meet there, pass the resolution as well, 3/4 vote. Pero kung magkaiba, yan ang problema, hindi magkaka-impasse, hindi po mapapasa yung constitutional reform. But if they adopt the Senate version, then wala tayong problema. 3/4 vote of both houses. So we feel, we maintain that's the best way, that's the best mode, that is the path of least resistance in terms of debates and I'd say heated debates and possible difficult scenarios that may happen if we meet together. So, pumapayag din si Speaker niyan. So, walang problema.